Thanks, Anne. Great. I know I don't think I need this one. Have a seat. Thank you. This is a great session that we're now entering with Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya. It's my personal pleasure to do this, an honor. We've done it 3 years in a row, and I think even maybe 4 if we count a virtual one during COVID as well. So it's really important for me that we bring the situation in Belarus as well to the forefront. Sviatlana, let me start with a personal question. I am a big admirer of your tenacity, the way you keep fighting for a free Belarus. But it's, as we just heard with Leonid Volkov, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. What is it that sort of Sviatlana superpower that keeps you up and gets you up every day to continue this? I think that's important for all of us, also for the many democracy activists that are in here, and keep up that sort of optimism, even though it's a tough fight. And you're up against a tough dictator like Lukashenko.
No, just you have reminded me that I'm here for the 4th time already, and you know, it's a pity, but it means that our fight against dictatorship continues for 4 years in a row already. And you know, the first superpower I have, I believe, is that I'm a woman. Woman? Thank you. Of course, you know, what's going on in Belarus, it's my personal pain, because my husband is in jail for 4 years already, and the last year he's kept incommunicado mode. It means that I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he's alive. I don't know what's going on with him in jail, and my children asking me every day when they are going to see their daddy. And I know that this question is being asked by thousands of children in Belarus and abroad. So, but this pain I feel every day for the destiny of our political prisoners give me energy to continue this fight. You waking in the morning with the same thoughts, you're going to bed with the same thoughts, so you like need this energy, you know. And the other issue that that is my superpower is Belarusian people. Belarusian people who are, despite of the repressions in Belarus, despite of constant atmosphere of tyranny and fear, they continue to fight defiantly in Belarus, underground at the moment, but also in exile. 500,000 of Belarusians had to flee the country because of repressions, and they continue to fight. They're sacrificing their time, money, you know, professions, you know, to contribute to our fight because they want to return home. And maybe the final one is the solidarity, the world solidarity and support. No one fight and no one war has been won without allies. And we are not asking the world, you know, to win this fight against dictatorship instead of us. It's our obligation as Belarusian people, but help us to sustain, help us to survive, and help us to win. You have tools. Democracy is, you know, is a powerful policy. You have a possibility to help all those who are in need or who are confronting dictatorship. So, yeah, this is, if I can call it superpower. So.
It is a superpower, and we're, of course, delighted to be part of that, the solidarity that you call that is in this room. So I actually also want you to maybe give the room a task. What can we do more for Free Belarus? What is it you need in your fight from all of us?
So first of all, remember about Belarus, because the worst feeling Belarusian people might have is that we as nation, our fight is forgotten, that we are abandoned, and people are lack of energy, you know, to continue this fight when you think that you're alone. So keep Belarus on high on agenda. I appeal to politicians, if you are here, keep us to, or help us to keep pressure on the regime, political pressure, economic pressure through sanctions, through synchronization of sanctions between Russia and Belarusian regime, but also to strengthening civil society, strengthening Belarusian people, help us to strengthen our national identity. Because now our national identity, our independence is at threat. Russia is subjugating Belarus piece by piece. It's like, we call it creeping occupation. If in Ukraine they're fighting with missiles, with tanks, and we all see this disaster, in Belarus it goes silently without like much attention. So pressure on the regime help to Belarusian people, to our free media, you know, to our democratic forces. If you're an activist, it's in your power to keep Belarusian agenda, to invite Belarusian activists into your organizations, into your initiatives, into your summits, conferences, wherever the Belarusian voice can be heard. Promote Belarusian cause. Explain the world, a democratic world, how the fate of Belarus and Ukraine connected. That we can't solve only Ukrainian issue, not helping Belarus, because there will be no peace and stability in the region without free and democratic Belarus. If you are a business, communicate with Belarusian businesses in exile. In 2020, plenty of businesses have been ruined because they showed solidarity with the Belarusian democratic movement. Now they're in exile, they have lost everything, they're trying to rearrange their businesses, so you can help. If you're technique companies, for example, be with us as well, be with those who are fighting dictatorship, because dictators also using all these technical instruments, in their advantage. Show that you are on the side of the good. Sometimes tech companies have more power than politicians. You can help us to circumvent restrictions in Belarus. You can help us to reach all the people inside the country. So you have tools like we are communicating with the Google about this. They help us to block so-called confessional video that KGB is recording with the detained people. Some of the chats, I don't know how it's called, they now going to introduce Belarusian language in their services, so promoting our Belarusian cause, our national identity. So there are plenty of tools. We are open for communication. It's easier to find us, and if you have will to help Belarusians, you find the way.
Wonderful. Let me also say that you are, of course, part of this conversation. It's a democratic debate, so do send questions in through the chat, and I'll have a look at it, and we can also maybe get to some of your questions. Sviatlana, you touched upon Ukraine quickly, and this was great. I think homework you gave the whole room and some really practical examples. But I want you to elaborate on that, on the war in Ukraine, which of course has also been a big part of our discussions today, and how to support Ukraine more militarily. But you mentioned that briefly, the link between Belarus, and I think a lot of people don't really know that. So I wanted you to expand on that, how a free Belarus impacts Ukraine and vice versa in basically the battle against Putin.
Just from the beginning, Russia doesn't see no Ukraine, no Belarus as separate states who have right to choose their future by themselves. They look at us as, naughty children who wants to leave their family, this Soviet Empire or Soviet Union. But we are separate nations. We have right we deserve to choose our future by ourselves. Belarus and Ukraine see the future in European family of countries. We are Europeans. So why one usurper or dictator tell us what to do? This is Lukashenko, who is ally to Putin. So, why does he, order all the Belarusian people to be in the Soviet Union past? We want to go to the future. So, and I think that European project cannot be completed until Ukraine and Belarus in this European family of countries. And of course, we understand that when Ukrainians will win this war, and I want to believe that democratic world will stay strong and stable, supporting Ukraine and give everything possible Ukraine needs, to win this war. When Ukraine wins, it will be window of opportunity for us, Belarusians, to uprise again, because weak Putin means weak Lukashenko. But also vice versa. Any dismantle of the regime or any unrest in Belarus will help Ukrainians to win this war. That's why we can't overlook Belarus, now. We have to help Belarusians, to weaken the regime from inside, from outside. When the moment comes, Lukashenko will be so weak that we'll easily dismantle it. So, what's Belarusian people may be afraid of now. If there are any negotiations between Ukraine and Russia will take place, and it will sooner or later happen, that Belarus will be given as consolation prize to Putin. No, this is our huge threat. We see how now Lukashenko is selling our country piece by piece to Russia. Russia is interfering in all the fields of Belarus economy, education, military, all the spheres. We see the process of Russification. They want to erase everything Belarusian from Belarus. They want to ruin our national identity. So that's why I ask you to stay with Belarus. Don't allow, for Putin to think that Belarus can be part, satellite, appendix of Russia again. We are a European country, and our future is together with you.
Wonderful. As you said, Belarus is a European country, and I want to just mention that you actually got a prize here in Copenhagen today as European of the Year by the local Europe movement here, so I want to congratulate you on that. But Belarus is also a country that probably has the highest per capita political prisoners in Europe. So I want you to talk about, and I know it's painful, as you mentioned, because you, of course, also have your husband that's who is among those political prisoners. What can we do more? I know there's been initiatives right now for a humanitarian fund as well, but I think it's an issue that we as the democratic world, and we maybe lost sort of the reflexes from when there was the Soviet Union. Everybody always took up the case of dissidents, and political prisoners is really a big issue, and particularly for Belarus. What can we do more?
I think that we will be able to release all political prisoners only when we will dismantle this regime. Because for dictators, political prisoners is like bargaining chip, and we don't want people to be traded with. So raise the issue. It's very important to remind the world about such a problem. We have at least 1,500 political prisoners. Accurate number, we don't know, because it's very dangerous to become political prisoners in Belarus, because the attitude to you in prison is much worse than to ordinary people. Many people are held incommunicado, including my husband. It's type of torture. People are kept in full isolation. We don't know what's going on with these people. Nobel Peace Prize winner, Ales Belyatsky, is kept in incommunicado mode. Democratic world, where are you? You have instruments, you have tools to demand at least access to these people. Why not you fulfill your mandate properly? Also, at least 1,500 already served their terms. 3-4 years passed, people served their terms. People lost everything. They lost their property, their health, and people need rehabilitation. And when person is released and he or she understands that, I don't know where, I have nowhere to go, I have nothing, that's why we have to be for these people. We have to at least provide them with some rehabilitation program. That's why we at last launched this humanitarian fund, where all the donations of all the countries, and I encourage actually all the countries to contribute into this fund, to provide assistance to these people who sacrificed everything for the values that European countries are based on. Take good parenthood over political prisoners. Good parenthood, like symbolic, means that you choosing one political prisoner and start communicate with his family, or start writing letters to this person, or at least tweeting about them. It takes a couple of minutes of your life, but through telling the story of this person, one political prisoner, you're telling the story of our nation and our fight. So, contribute information, even talking to your neighbor about Belarus, about the situation, you're spreading the word about our fight, about dictators, and about what's going on. So there are many tools and many possibilities. So welcome everybody to contribute to the topic of political prisons.
I want you. Well, I want you to do that. I want you to heed what Sviatlana has been telling us here and do some of these actions. And I do hope, is it only governments or is it also individuals that can contribute to that? For the humanitarian fund for political prisoners?
At the moment, I suppose it's only about governments.
Okay.
But
then let's push our governments in Denmark, elsewhere, to sort of to join this initiative. I think that's important. And again, as you said initially, with your superpower, solidarity is part of it. Solidarity is part of why we are here today, for democratic movements, for free Belarus. And again, we know it's for the long haul, as you've also adjusted to with the opposition. But we will keep having you back here. We'll keep supporting what you do. And so I want all of you to give a hand to Sviatlana. And we're staying on stage is because we also have a small little addition, which is actually an extra sort of program point. It's the launch of the Global Democracy Coalition. So their advocacy campaign, I just want to also launch here from stage. The Global Democracy Coalition is around 120 organizations from every corner of the world. Many of you are here around in the room today. So I actually invite all of you that are part of that democracy coalition in different organizations to stand up here in the room, and so we can all give you a hand. The Global Democracy Coalition is launching this advocacy campaign here today, here from our stage in Copenhagen. It's a campaign that seeks to change the narrative about democracy, so we're not always on the back foot, but talk about decline, but to a posture of resilience and empowerment. And so I want all of you then to watch this little video, 2-minute video, that they have done to do exactly that. And I guess the two of us can then say we give a big thumbs up to the Global Democracy Coalition.
Absolutely, I fully support.
Okay, and I think we'll have a video, but do applaud.
In every corner of the world, democracy breathes life into the hopes and dreams of billions. Today, we come together to say, thank you, democracy, for empowering, uniting, and giving us the voice to shape our future. Thank you, democracy, for the right to vote and for making our voices count. Thank you for giving us the power to create change through dialogue and understanding. Thank you for the freedom to express our ideas and inspire others, no matter where we are. From simple acts of kindness to groundbreaking initiatives, democracy enriches our lives daily. Thank you for the empathy, unity, and joy we share when we come together. Yet, the journey of democracy is one in which we all walk together. It invites us to engage, listen, and act to ensure the freedoms we cherish. We are here today to say, thank you, democracy. You give us the opportunity to speak, ask, listen, act, collaborate. Together, let's continue building our democratic journey. Let's honor those who came before us and those to come. Let's stand up for democracy and prevent its legacy from fading. The time is now.